Well, the weather is freezing cold today, but no mind. Look at this beautiful big log I've got. This log here is started out the same size as this big log, and it's been burning in my fireplace. So let's just show you how we can put a big log like this into our fireplace and burn it. So we just poke it in here and it's going to burn for like 3 or 4 days in that fireplace. Can your secondary combustion fireplace take a log like this? Obviously I'm going to need some kindling. Look at this lovely kindling that my neighbor downwind from me knows that I collect firewood, and he's been trimming his trees, and look at all this beautiful dry kindling. So my question for people with secondary combustion fireplaces is, can you take kindling like this and can you just push it into your fireplace? You got this tiny little, very super efficient fireplace. You got this really untidy kindling. Can you just poke it into your fireplace like this? So there we go. So we're going to light the fire. I never use any fire lighter other than cardboard. So we stick some cardboard in there. This comes from when stuff gets delivered, it comes with cardboard. And to light the cardboard, I use a bit of tissue paper. So let's get our fire going. And while our fire burns, we've got some lovely flatbread with hard-boiled egg and mayonnaise on it. Yum, yum. Put a few of these sticks that we've cut on top. Burning well enough now. I think that we can stick the last of this log in. Here is our chimney. It's covered with a computer case. This is while it's just starting out. That's the amount of smoke that there is. And here we are back down. And that's the fire at the moment that was creating a small amount of smoke, but once the log gets burning, well, a YouTube video is just a story, and in my story today, I want to talk about fireplaces, especially secondary combustion ones. Can you see flames like that in a secondary combustion fireplace? Can you fit a big log in? Can you push all that tiny scrub fire lighting stuff into a secondary combustion fireplace or a small fireplace? This is why I love such a big fireplace. And then I also want to mention log splitters. With that cut-off circular saw, if you get branches which are cut off, or if a log splits them into certain sizes, why not just get them at that size? We have tons and tons of dead trees that size, which you can just cut off, and you saw it takes a second or two with a circular cut-off saw, as opposed to the huge expense and, well, the difficulty of using big logs. You've got to cut them into small sizes. You've got to anyway use a circular or a chainsaw to cut them into small enough logs, and then you've got to split them. So I just go zing, 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 and I've cut my branches down to the right size. So I've personally no time for a log splitter in this warm climate where we have, and we don't have an excess of pine trees or anything. We don't have big trees. We have tons of little trees. So I'm just saying that's the reason I don't find a log split at all of any interest to me, and I don't think it's of any use to almost anybody. Then I come to chainsaws. Now, we hack every Sunday for the last 3.5 years, and we hack all the alien species, including this big log that I showed you. It's a blue gum tree. It's an non-indigenous alien species that's invasive and has to be gotten rid of. And then we turn them into firewood.
Quick to judge which direction it's going to fall.
Wow. So all my hacker friends have got chainsaws, and in the 3.5 years, they've probably gone through 2 or sometimes 3 chainsaws and probably 20 different chains each. Huge expense. Now, in that same length of time, I basically use there's my main weapon. Here's my secondary weapon, and then you saw the axe. And it's cost me nothing in the last 3.5 years because I haven't gone through anything. They're still here. I just sharpen it. You can see this has been sharpened a lot. So, you know, everyone tells a story from a certain point of view. My point of view is if it costs money, that's a bad story. If it costs nothing, that's a good story. So my big log cost me nothing. I didn't have to buy firewood. I just dragged it home. It's an alien species, got to go. Great story. You saw my kindling. I got it from my neighbor, free of charge. It was doing him a favor. Someone would have had to drag it away. It would have become someone else's problem. But now, instead of that, it's been usefully used for kindling for my fire for months, well, quite a few fires, probably a month of fires, maybe. And, you know, another story, a good story is, you saw my chimney. It's an old computer case that covers the chimney. The chimney I bought from a scrapyard for almost nothing. The fireplace I got from a scrapyard for $8. It's a steel hopper. It'll last 1,000 years. The steel for the chimney is already 20 years old from a scrapyard for virtually nothing. So to me, those are good stories. As I say, everyone tells a story from their own point of view, and as a bit of a cheapskate, I just delight in getting stuff for a cheap amount of money. My time is worth nothing. I'm retired. I can't cash my time in and get money. Other people tell stories from the point of view of, well, you know, people who earn huge salaries, they're going to say, well, I could just work for a day or two and get a log splitter. And for them, it's probably worth it. I'd probably have to work a month to get a log splitter. To me, it's totally unworth it, or not worth it. So I guess from the point of view of what is of value to people, say their money is, they earn it easy come, easy go, get a log splitter and get a chainsaw. And as I say, all my friends seem to have no problem forking out all that money. New chains are not cheap, and new chainsaws are not cheap. They have no problem with it. To them, that's a great story that they got a new chainsaw or a new chain. To me, I get exercise, I cut trees down that thickness quite easily with a saw or with a panga or with an axe. So to me, that's a good story. So as I say, everyone tells stories from their own point of view. My son would tell a story from a point of view, how many features has it got? Look, this thing's got no features. You can't adjust the airflow, you can't make it burn slow or faster, apart from putting more or less logs in and moving the logs around. But there's another feature. I can cook in here. I'm going to cook a stew in here just now. Can you do that with a secondary combustion stove? Put a pot in there and cook a lovely stew. So we'll do that just now. As I say, so my son, a good story to him would be, hey, this washing machine is fantastic. It's got internet, Wi-Fi connectivity. It'll report to you when it's finished spinning, and boy, it'll even report to Xi Jinping of China when it's finished spinning as a new Chinese washing machine. And it's got so many different features. You can adjust this, do that, do the other. Wow, features don't interest me at all. So a good story to the youngsters is, how many features has this washing machine or fireplace or whatever, or chainsaw got? I know my dad used to tell stories always from his point of view. A good story was one where us kids looked like idiots and he was the hero. For example, a really great story was the time that he left my niece, Dawn, who was much older than me, to babysit me. And when they came back, she loved ballet. So she thought, I've got the time, I'm doing nothing, I want to practice my ballet. So she dragged me and got me involved. And then my parents came back, and there I was on my toes doing pirouettes and arabesques or whatever terms there are in ballet. And my father said we came back just in time to stop Stephen from turning gay. Now that was to him a terrific story. I was the idiot, he was the hero. They came back, saved the day, stopped me from turning gay. Great story from his point of view. So it's quite interesting to watch how everybody on the internet tells, or any storyteller has a certain point of view. If you listen to enough stories, you'll see their point of view. And if you watch my YouTube videos, you'll see it's always the same point of view. Hey, I did this free of charge or cheap or for nothing. Cost a bit of time and effort, but I love to spend effort because, hey, I don't have to subscribe to a gym. I don't have to pay a gym subscription, and I don't have to drive somewhere, use petrol and time getting to the gym just to exercise. I go out, I chop trees, and I get my exercise that way, or I drag trees home. That's a day's exercise. So I'm just aware that my point of view is, hey, if I get exercise and waste time or spend my time and it doesn't cost me anything, that's a great story.